Well, hey there, YouTube. Petey Two Finger here with a recommendation video for you. Way back in 1986, I went to the Aragon Ballroom, saw a rock concert. It's called the Electric Circus Tour. Had Blackie Lawless's band WASP, stands for White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, I think. They got into some trouble with this song, F-U-C-K, like a beast. I'm not sure what the F-U-C-K, they had little dots in there, like it stood for something else. He had a couple of saw blades sticking out of his pantaloons where it comes together, where your junk is. He had these saw blades, two of them coming out at an angle. It was weird. This is weird. He had a bunch of like blonde headed, got like guys with the big head of hair, permed out hair, and up there playing their guitars, and they had women in cages dancing around. And Slayer played at the Electric Circus, which was a little different vibe. And I was terrified. I was scared during Slayer. It was bad. I went in the restroom. There was a guy with a full-length leather trench coat with a lot of black fingernails, black eye makeup and all that. And he had a cauldron that he was rubbing alcohol into, and then he lit it and started talking backwards. I held it. So the opening band at the Electric Circus was a new wave of British heavy metal. These guys are pioneers named Raven. So it's a trio. It's three guys. John Gallagher, his brother Mark Gallagher. John's a bass player, and he's got a metal voice. He sings in a powerful, super high, like how Axl Rose sings high. He's guys like that. He's got a real high voice. It's not really falsetto, I don't think. I mean, it's his real voice. And then his brother Mark plays the electric guitar. Now, when I saw them, they were going through this stage where they were being marketed as athletic rock. And the drummer's name was Rob Wacko Hunter. And Wacko had a pair of chrome drumsticks, and he had a chrome hockey helmet, hockey mask, like a chrome suit. He had hockey gear on. Remember, Mark was wearing like kind of Nazi-ish, like pantaloons with boots tucked into them, and then like suspenders that were chains, maybe. John had on a red jumpsuit with some kind of a big green foam, like a wireless mic with a big, and then he had a giant pointy red bass. So he came out with this skin tight, he's real tall, this red suit on, and he started singing higher than I've ever heard anybody sing. His brothers marching around like doing like a Nazi march, and the crowd just was not ready. They did not know what was going on. Wacko was knocking over his hi-hat cymbal, and this roadie would come out with a baseball cap on and set it back up, and then he would be firing off drumsticks, beaning the roadie with these sticks. I could not stop laughing at Raven. And then I started getting into it. I'm thinking, these guys, they're really good. Mark used a Roland GR700 guitar synthesizer and did this crazy echo flanger solo. They played a song called Mind Over Metal. And that was the beginning of my thing with this band. I love Raven. I love them. And you'll find two types of people. There are people that don't get it. They don't like Raven. It's too much for them. So this is the dividing line. So if you find yourself being on that line of stuff that, like, if you don't like what's really popular, if you're not into, um, I don't know, what's a good example? Like when you were coming up, did you have all of the New Kids on the Block and Britney Spears stuff? Then maybe you wouldn't like Raven. But if you're like me and you like good music, you like real music, you're gonna love Raven. So they're still around. They still tour every once in a while, and it's like every time they come, I have tickets for some other major show that was announced before their little tour that they do. So I've never seen them. I only saw them that one time, but we're gonna go. We're going to see Raven. They've got a new album coming out September 18th. It's called Metal City. They moved on. Their last drummer became ill. I forget what his name was. Anyway, the new guy is a younger guy who plays blast beats. So the band has kind of reinvented itself. They've got a couple singles out from the new album, so you can check those out. The title track, Metal City. It's a comic book type of look that they have for the artwork of the album. Metal City, and then Top of the Mountain, which seems to be kind of a political thing about what's been going on. Don't believe the hype type of message. So very interesting. I became Facebook friends with John Gallagher, Raven, and I really enjoy his noodles. He plays his bass with a laptop and films it and puts that up every day. So you get him just riffing out, playing. He's running it through all kinds of distortions and echoes and flangers and stuff. It's really cool. He plays every day, just a little bit, like a 2-3 minute thing that he'll do. He's a brilliant guy. He's funny. He's been married to the same woman. My type of guy. He's not a overindulger into the boozing, drink yourself to death, doing drugs. That whole like really rotten end of the rock and roll scene. And he's a survivor. He's been around. He's done this a long time. They know what they're doing. And if you check them out and you like it, you definitely want to go back and check out the early stuff. Because these are classic new wave of British heavy metal, whatever you want to call it. Metallica went out with Raven. On their first tour, Raven was headlining and took them out. So there's that. That's what a lot of people associate them with. I don't associate them with Metallica. When I think of Raven, I think of this band that I love. I remember hearing Mind Over Metal on Z-Rock and immediately grabbing a tape and recording it. And that became a favorite. I would play that song for any band I was in. I'm like, you gotta hear this Mind Over Metal. This song is just insane. I ended up getting a bunch of their stuff. Now I've got their whole discography. So yeah, definitely check these guys out. If you do, let me know. I love that when I recommend something and it'll come back around and people will let me know. I would recommend their first album is really good. Hell Patrol. Don't Need Your Money. I really like All for One. I really like that, but I like the one that came after that too. The one that everyone hates. The Power and the Glory. What was the name of that album? It's got Pray for the Sun on it. And he's using that guitar synth on it. I really like that song. I love that album. And it's got like samples in it. It's really 80s. It's when they were going through this phase with this record label, and a lot of people consider that the low end of their career. Stay Hard. That's the name of that album. I love it. I do. I love that album. So yeah, it's not a guilty pleasure. It's good music. Trust me, it's good. You could do a lot worse. And the new stuff, this Extermination album that they came out with a couple, like 2014 or 2015, is amazing. It's amazing. Nobody can sing like John Gallagher. And he's a wizard on the bass, too. So definitely check Raven out. I'm done trying to sell you guys on this. You're going to love it. You're in for a treat. Peace.